Hey folks, Lucas and Corey here from Atomic Insights. We are very excited to show you our latest demo today where we incorporate our ability to ingest documents in order to help us with payments processing. We've talked with some of you about this capability, but the idea is, client-facing person gets a note from maybe an email from a client saying, hey, pay this invoice. You can upload it into our system. We can then transmit that to a CRM system such as Salesforce. You can also just do your work in our system if you prefer that, but if you're in the CRM system, you process the payment, submit it back to Atomic Insights. We can go through our checks in our system and then give you the ability to send those payments directly to the custodians without any further data entry. And then as many of you also know, because we're in the flow of all the payments as well as all the changes in market value, dividends, and coupons, it makes creating the reporting associated with your clients' money movements much, much easier. So we'll give you a sense of how all that works today.
Thanks, Lucas. I'll take over and show you what the first part of that workflow might look like. So as I'm taking on the role here of a client-facing advisor, as Lucas mentioned, often we're going to be receiving things like invoices. And what I'll do is I'll actually take an invoice and drop it onto our document ingest pipeline. What our pipeline is doing under the hood is it's running optical character recognition, or OCR, to pull out all of the text in this invoice that we've dropped in. From there, what we're doing is we're actually running this through an LLM-backed pipeline to first summarize the document, pull out a human-readable description, talking about what this payment is all about, that is easy to understand for our operators down the line. And then, of course, we're going to extract structured payment data that tells us the amount, account numbers, etc. Now that is processed in our pipeline, we've actually sent it over to our CRM. As Lucas mentioned, we're showing a Salesforce workflow here today. So we can go ahead and look at what this presents as in Salesforce. We're modeling our payment requests as cases in Salesforce, which is super common for a lot of firms. And we can take a look at what just got ingested. So we have here information about what kind of transfer we're looking for and what are the details. We're sending a wire. We know what account we should be sending money from. We know where it's going to. We know the amount. And as I mentioned, we've also pulled out a nice human-readable description that's going to make sense to folks down the line. From here, I'll hand it over to Lucas again, who's going to show you what this looks like once it's actually synced into Atomic Insights.
Great. So I'm modeling that I'm a person working in a middle or back office. So I have a workflow that I need to accomplish in order to process several different payments. So I just refreshed. I see that I have 2 payment requests in my queue. The first one looks like it's a capital call. And the first thing that my eyes do is they come over to our verification check. So I see that, one, doesn't look like we have enough cash for this particular payment. We don't have a letter of authorization on file, and we have never sent any money to this vendor before. So it seems like maybe Corey and the client-facing team have a bit more work that they need to do. So I'm going to reject this payment, and that's going to get kicked back to Corey, and his team can kind of work on figuring out what needs to be done in order to get us the right enough cash, whatever it is that needs to be done. But we have this other payment here. It looks like this one is looking like it's in good order from my perspective. We have cash. We have a standing letter of authorization on file. We've sent to this particular vendor many, many times. I recognize this vendor on behalf of this client. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to approve this payment. This is going to take us straight into the Schwab Advisor Center. And we are going to be able to process this payment in a jiffy without any further data entry, because we will have done all the data entry work. You can see all the key data populates. We've also stipulated that this is a first or third party payment, and so we could go ahead and send this out into the world, and off it will go. Importantly, now I can bring us into our data view and give everyone a sense of how beneficial it is to be in the flow of all these payments, because being able to produce a report for a client will allow you to clearly see exactly where all their money has gone. So in this case, we're now in sandbox land. Previously, we were in production and actually sending payments. Here, this is sandbox data and kind of all pretend. But as I joke with people, it doesn't matter how much money a client has. In this case, this particular client has a lot of money. As soon as you start showing them where they were and sort of changes in market value, deposits and withdrawals, if there's any negative signs there, they're going to want to understand those in detail. And historically, lots of systems can show you this data at this level of abstraction, but as soon as you say, well, what actually was that? That's where most systems, and in fact almost all systems, fall short, but we do not, because we're in the middle of the flow. So for this particular client, it'd be very easy to say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Client, we had lots of tax bills last year as a result of, the big income year that we had, but, there was also lots of fun things in there too. We had this, this trip to Spyglass where you paid for everybody, and wasn't that such a great and fun time. So the idea is you're running all of the payments through our system. As a result, you have a great understanding of where the client's money has gone out. You also have all of the money that's coming in. We're able to categorize those things and make them very understandable. And then ultimately you can understand exactly what the changes in market value were that got you to your ending positions for that client. And it makes it very, very easy to give that client a real sense of where his or her money has gone. And it's easy for us to export that. We can put that into a very easy shareable Excel file, or we can PDF that, and that will come out with branding and white label branding and all those things that you'd like to have in order to make these reports easy to generate and to disseminate to your clients. So let us know if you have any questions. We'd love to tell you more about what we're building, so don't hesitate to reach out. We'd be happy to talk with you. Thanks, and have a great holiday season. Take care.